it going? Sam D up here with Inside Pool Extreme News. I'm in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania for the Super Billiards Expo. We are currently down to 8 players in the men's Diamond Open 9-Ball Championship. Shane Van Boning is set to duke it out with Tony Crosby, Sean Wilkie, and Tony Robles, Rodney Morris and Sean Putnam, and Mika Immonen and Adam Smith. Adam Smith, who, by the way, just knocked out Gabe Owen in a hill-hill match, where at 8-8, Adam Smith had the cue ball cleaned, getting ready to shoot the 8-ball in the side pocket. So I thought that was pretty good discipline on his part there. There is also an 8-player women's event that's going on right now. It's a single knockout race to 9. Guy Young and Allison are set to play, and Christy Carter and Kelly Fisher are playing. So Christy's come out of retirement for this event here. The men are duking it out for $10,000, and we have with us today a special guest, Dawn Hopkins, owner and producer of the Super Billiards Expo, with her husband, Alan Hopkins. Welcome, Dawn. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Sam. Thank you for having me.
How's the event going this year?
It's going
so
great.
far?
I mean, no ice storms this year, which is a big plus from last year, watching cars slide in the parking lot.
Absolutely. Looking out the window and seeing a big sheet of white.
Yeah. But no, this year the weather is perfect. It's a little cold, not too cold, and we have a full house. All events are sold out. The pro arenas were sold out tonight, both in the day session and the night session, so
Excellent.
I can't complain.
Excellent. And you and Alan are now currently living in New Jersey?
That's right,
So
southern New
that's
Jersey.
not too far from here?
No, it's about an hour and a half from Valley Forge.
Okay. How many years has this event been running now so far?
It's the 16th year, but it's the
Wow.
15th year here in Valley Forge.
Okay. And where was it in the first year?
That was at the Meadowlands Convention Center over by New York, but
Okay.
they were just a little too high priced for, for billiards.
So just to give us a quick history on the event, what inspired you to start the...
Actually, it was Alan's idea. Alan came up with an idea to have something for the players in the beginning to help their tour. And it didn't work out with that, and so we continued on to have the event ourselves, and it's just grown every single year. It gets bigger and bigger.
Excellent, excellent. I'm always seeing you and Alan running around with your walkie-talkies and
yeah.
wearing lots of hats. You do have a ton of staff on board. How many people does it take to get this
Well, here at the event, we probably have about 60 people on staff, and they're more than staff. They're family, a lot of family, and very close friends, most of them. They've been with us for years, and to be honest, the event runs so smooth, and it's a lot of it is because of our staff. They're so competent now, and they've been with us for years.
Yeah, it's the same faces every year.
Right,
That's
right.
great to see that. Now the amateur event is maxed out every year, all the different divisions. There's an open division, women's, junior, seniors, as well as the pro-am division.
Right.
Are you any thoughts on extending the field size at all? Ever?
Well, we do have some ideas for next year.
Okay.
So we do have ideas to extend the amount of tables that we're using for our amateur events, and that would enable us to grow the fields a little bit, because we had to turn away a lot of people, and that's not something we like to do.
You did. I heard there was a 60-player wait list for the open division.
Oh, and that's not
So
even
popular.
counting the 100 calls I got before I got here to say, I'm sorry, we're filled, I'm sorry.
I bet.
So-
I bet. So players out there, make sure you get your entries in on time.
Early.
Early. That's right. What other projects are you and Alan working on right now? Any big projects you should...
Well, we
want
like
us to know
to
about?
try one project at a time most of the time. So we're trying to get through the expo, and then after that, probably focus on the $1 Million 9-Ball in August. We're going to hold qualifiers around the country, and it's kind of set up like poker, where you can go to your local pool room, pay a small fee to get into a tournament. If you win that one, that gets you into the next round, which gets you into the $5,000 entry fee event, which is the big
Interesting.
event in August.
Wow.
So a lot of people are very excited about it, and it's going to help the pool rooms. If they get on board with that, it will help them to grow their business too, because the summertime is a slow time of year for billiards. So if they can keep those qualifiers going, then it would be good for everybody.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, between June and September, there's not much going on.
No,
really.
there isn't, but that's why you have to create things to keep people on board with billiards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of keeping people interested. Some of you may not know, but Dawn has a book out.
Oh, yes.
Tell us a little bit about your book.
This is Kids Learn to Play Pool, and I wrote it a couple years ago. You're a writer yourself, so you know you've got your book out too. But there was a need, I thought, I have a 12-year-old and a 30-year-old, but the 12-year-old, I didn't have any place for kids like him that they could go and have a book that wasn't something that they liked to read. You know, they like little paragraphs and lots of pictures and colors and stuff. So I decided to put a book together, and I used my sons as the models and my stepson Alan. And you see, it's very colorful and very kid-friendly. There's just small little places that they can read that describe the lesson. And it's basically a beginner's lesson that I would give a beginner adult, but it's done in kid version.
I did notice that myself, that some of the photos and stuff are basic enough that you could use as a beginner lesson for
Right. So, and it's going very well. You know, it's the only one out there, and I'm very proud of it, and it's doing well.
So with the 12-year-old, are you priming your son for to be the next pool champion there? Or?
I want him to do like what he wants. I expose him to different things. Right now he's a tennis player, which is great by me because I love tennis too. So we're both playing tennis, and he does love billiards. I can't get him off the pool table when we get here to these events. But he'll do what he really wants to do. I just
Great.
expose him to things, and he'll choose something eventually.
Excellent. And then, speaking of kids, you're also working with the Billiard Education Foundation.
Right. Yeah,
Do you know how to work with
that's an exciting project for me because I always think of what's my passion, what's my drive in this sport as a player. And the biggest thing for me is just to be able to give back to people. And one of the things that I've always wanted to do is to teach kids about the character building part of pool, the life lessons that you learn as a player. I mean, you're a player, so you understand that it's dedication, it's concentration, but it's so much more than that. You know, learning quality time on the table instead of just getting and hitting balls, or setting goals was a really big hurdle for me. I never really learned about setting goals until I got involved with pool. Once I started doing that, I learned that in all life now. I use that kind of a model.
Sure.
So anyway, because of that, we created this idea. Laura Smith and I, we were talking in an 8-hour drive down to one of the tournaments and came up with a thought, and it just all came together for us. And so now I'm the Director of Program Development, working on the biggest project right now is to get pool into schools, where we have after-school program where the kids can learn after school. We take them either to a pool room, or they might have a couple tables at the school. There's also pilot programs out there now that actually have it as part of their gym class. And so our concept is to get it in all the schools, have regional program directors who organize, and they make it a business, have the teachers go into the schools, and then eventually get teams going. We have a pilot program in Texas that Earl Munson is doing, where he's got 12 schools, and they all play against each other, just like a basketball league or something. So can you imagine if pool got into all these high schools around America, how big that pool can get?
Right.
And again, my passion being that we're incorporating into the lessons a lot of the character building things. That is all
Absolutely.
just part of it, etiquette and all that stuff.
Absolutely, and it kind of changes the stigma a little bit about, you know, for parents letting their kids go off to the pool hall and
Oh, yeah. And it's
in
not
an organized
I
fashion.
mean, anybody out there listening today, you're here because you love pool, and you know that it is for any age. You don't have to be an athlete to play billiards. You can be 6, you can be 90. And that's so wonderful about the sport in the school, because, you know, in school they kind of categorize kids. You're the nerd, or you're the jock, or whatever. Pool doesn't really have that, because you can be the nerd or the jock and be great, either one of them. So I think that's going to be a big plus for billiards.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, you and Alan have truly been great ambassadors for this sport, and we look forward to seeing what else you guys have in store for us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks again, Sam Dieppe here with Inside Pool Extreme News, signing off. This program was brought to you by Cyberts.com and Poison Cues.